everyone, it's Linda McKenna from Golden Rule Senior Placement Services coming to you today with Tuesday Talks. Today's topic, since the month of April is Occupational Therapy Month, we're going to talk about how it's related to our seniors. So what is occupational therapy, ADLs, activities of daily living, and how does this service support your senior loved one? A little bit on a personal note, I love Occupational Therapy Month. My daughter is an occupational therapist. She was actually in neuro ICU. I have learned so much from her in relating to a lot of my clients, and especially with their ADLs and their compromised disease processes, where assistance with training, cognitive delay with occupational therapy is so essential for somebody to try to be a little bit more independent, and giving them the grace and the power to be independent. So occupational therapy is so different from what we perceived it to be. A lot of people think physical therapy is for the lower extremities and occupational therapy is for the upper extremities, and it really isn't. A lot of the training with activities of daily living that an occupational therapist does is something that really balances both extremities. It's the whole body, but it's also the mind and the soul. So where physical therapy, of course, is gait, a lot of it is strengthening, but occupational therapy is actually teaching somebody or reteaching them how to really be independent and survive on their own. So the little bit of background that I want to talk about with Occupational Therapy Month, that it is a part of medical breakthroughs that Americans are living longer today than ever before. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, people aged 65 and older will represent over 18% of the population by the year 2030, nearly double of what it is today. And while no longer life expectancy is certainly something to celebrate, it is not without challenge. According to the Alliance for Health Reform, 20% of seniors are living with 5 or more chronic conditions, seeing an average of 14 different physicians and using about 50 prescriptions every year. As a result, the aging process, many seniors eventually require more of a higher level of care and assistance with daily living, but they will find it difficult to ask for help. People value their independence and privacy, and they do not want to be burdened on their family and friends. If you're concerned about a loved one who may be struggling unnecessarily, it is better to be proactive and ease into the transition of lifestyle. The following is a list of indicators to help family members and friends quickly assess a loved one's condition, identify potential areas of concern, and more important, caregiving decisions. Nobody recognizes what a senior loved one needs. I'm not saying that doctors are not recognizing it, but they're not saying with your loved one for 24/7. So you seeing the decline of your loved one, you're more prevalent of knowing what their needs are at all hours of the day, and especially when you go to a doctor's appointment, you have that window of time to consult with the doctor. And if you're bringing your loved one with them, it's like going to the principal's office. Everything is okay, and they show their best face. So you having this ability of reviewing this with the doctor can order some therapies at home, also within senior living, or may require a rehab stay. That is something that they could benefit from, more acute level. And with occupational therapy, we're going to go over the ADLs, activities of daily living, which we take for granted. But if you're seeing this in your loved one, that you recognize one, maybe 2 or 3 of those items, it could be something that could be catastrophic. So we want to address it now while we could be more proactive and preventative than something and say, I should have, would have, could have. So you want to do something that is more beneficial to them now so they can get the help that they need now rather than wait till a major event occurs and then you might not have that many options to carry on. Number one, a medical condition. A recently diagnosed disease, illness, or injury could affect your loved one's ability to function on a daily basis. Couldn't agree with that more. Congestive heart failure, breathing, or vascular compromise, or peripheral neuropathy, not being able to walk as much. Having a recent stroke really debilitates an elder to a farther degree than somebody else having a younger with a stroke, because it could be cognitive decline. It could affect speech. It could affect a lot of memory. It could affect not only speech, but swallowing. It could affect so much. So recognizing their comorbidities now is something that you could be very proactive with, and making sure that you are planning as the disease process worsens, or they can get their way through with rehab. Two, driving. As we get older, we know we lose our instincts. We're not as quicker to respond to maybe something that is coming at you in a car, or crossing the street. You're walking faster than maybe a 20-year-old, but a 20-year-old is going to run across the street. But while driving, your instincts are not as quick. And especially with roads today and stoplights and signs, you have to be conscious that they are there, that you could maneuver, you could manage the road very well. So sometimes somebody's vision is impaired, their hearing is impaired, and of course, if there's memory impairment, driving is a no-no. So that's something we should really look upon. And basically, you could report your loved one and anonymously, believe it or not, the doctor can as well, a neighbor can, about taking away their license. Because not only are you saving them maybe from danger, but you're saving the other person from danger of them not driving well. 3, food and nutrition. Take note of what your loved ones are eating. Nourishment should be proteins. It should not be high carbohydrates. It should not be high in sugar. Frozen meals are high in sodium. So their nutrition should be balanced, no different than a child being born, and they are nurtured with good fresh foods and things that they can digest well. Same thing with our elders. After a stroke, sometimes their swallowing becomes disengaged, and sometimes they need thickened liquids. They might need mechanical soft diets for a temporary situation, because if they choke, they are going to aspirate. So food and nutrition goes into a lot of areas, and one thing that we must remind ourselves of with food and nutrition is hydration. Somebody that's being hydrated, especially if they're incontinent of urine especially, you want to make sure that you're avoiding UTIs, that they're not dehydrating, but more importantly, that they are taking care of their bladder needs as well. Which goes into the next one, 4, hygiene. If you're noticing on your loved one, they keep wearing the same clothes, or they're stained, or they smell maybe of urine, that's something that you want to make sure that hygiene is important, not for the overall effect of their mental well-being, but their physical well-being, because that's where you can catch urinary tract infections. You could actually see that maybe their clothing is restrictive or is not good for their their health or their safety concerns, like shoes and maybe compression stockings. All those things are important, but hygiene plays a big part of that, is to make sure that they are taking care of themselves, bathing. And a lot of folks are afraid of taking showers because the fear of falling. So that's one of the ADLs also, is bathing. And a lot of the times in a senior living, a lot of them are like, oh, I don't want somebody giving me a bath or a shower. There is standby assist. That means somebody is outside the shower, making sure that you're inside the shower safe, doing your business, and then they're there safety with helping you get out and getting redressed. So hygiene is very important. Behavior. If your loved one is anxious, is irritable, or depressed, this is something that needs to be recognized, or difficulty remembering things. This is cognitive delay. This is something that you want to bring forth to the doctor so they can be further tested. Behavior, if it's anxiety, it can be helpful to get the right medication mix for them. So this way they can calm down and they can really enjoy the day and not be so anxious. And depression is a lot when seniors live alone. So because they're all day just existing and they're not with other people. That's why senior living is wonderful, is that they are of like nature, that they're living with their neighbor right down the hallway. Doesn't matter what the weather is. It could be snowing outside, it could be raining, it could be hot. They're right down the hallway so that they can enjoy a neighbor very safely with. So again, their behaviors should be looked upon. And if memory is something that is being seen by you, what are they forgetting to do? Number 6, daily tasks. Basic tasks like going grocery shopping, preparing meals, and becoming very overly challenging and time consuming is something, again, we take for granted. Just think, we have to get a list together of what we need, drive to the store, get the food, put it away, then, cook it, clean it up. There's a big process to that. There's many steps. So if somebody's in their 90s still doing this and they're living alone, and again, making, items to eat, or a meal to eat and eating by themselves, there's no, incentive to do that. So they'll just get something just simple, like I said, frozen food dinners, which is not something that you want them to have on a regular basis. So again, maybe they forget to shut off the stove. Maybe they forget to shut off the burner. So these daily tasks we should not take for granted. Again, where senior living is great, they don't have to worry about any of that. 7, medication. I think this should be number 1. Is your loved one able to manage his or her medication properly, including dosage, frequency, and changes to prescriptions? Again, are they timely ordered? Something we should not take for granted. Some say that, I did take that pill, or I forgot to take that pill, and they're tripling up on the next day. Not good. So medication management is so important because some disease processes depend on that medication to help them repair or get better or manage their symptoms. And especially with somebody with anxiety, not taking the right pills, they're going to get into such disarray. So medication management is consistency, and making sure that it is recognized when to take it, and also not falling on the floor and forgetting about it. And if another prescription is changed, getting rid of the old medication. It's a lot. So again, senior living is great for these needs because medication management is done within senior living, that they administer meds according to what the doctor is ordering. So you don't have to worry about did they take their medicine? It's being done. Number 8, Finances. Again, are they able to manage their money? Are they personal finances, paying bills? A lot of my clients, as of recently, that their families are out of town, they came to see their parents or their parent and notice a stack of bills or mail that they haven't gone through. You know, the electricity might be being turned off, or the utilities. You know, is it something that is going to go to foreclosure if there is a mortgage? So all these things are vital to watch over, and also we also want to avoid exploitation. A lot of things come in the mail that they take for granted is an actual bill, and it's where they're being exploited. A lot of fraud among seniors. So again, that's something that should be maintained, not by somebody that they've been regularly doing it, but there might be a deficit. You might notice it when you go into their home that bills and mail is strewn all over the place. There's no consistency. Another thing is also to be on their bank records, so you still have access to know really what's going on. Number 9, is the mail stacking up, as I just spoke about, and is there past due delinquencies? Very important, because we don't want your loved ones to have you know, their electricity or utilities shut off, and that could be very detrimental. So think about it. You only have one bill a month when you're in senior living, and it could be managed from far away. If you're the senior's loved one, it could be managed at your state where you reside. Number 10, safety. Does your senior loved one remember to turn off appliances, candles, or cigarettes? Does he or she keep the doors and windows locked? Again, I just recently had a lady that smokes in her house. It's kind of scary, because you could fall asleep, ashes could fall in a lap, and if you're not responsive really quick, you worry about somebody putting themselves on fire or putting the house on fire. Same thing with the appliances. Leaving something on the stove is not something that's wonderful or ignore. But also, you've got to realize, locking the door. Anybody could come to the door, knock, and say, "Hey, I have an emergency. I just need water." Meanwhile, they have full access to your senior loved one's house and everything, that the contents in their own safety. So if you have any of these concerns, 1 is too much out of these 10 signs that senior may need assistance. But if there is more than 1, I would say this is sometime that you're going to have a family meeting, and also discuss it with your loved one, and explore options in senior living, and also have your loved one's ADLs being taken care of. I can't say enough for senior living. It's a peace of mind, not only for the person that is living there, that they're going to have a quality of life and not an existence, and worry about the next day of what they're going to eat with their friends, and what activity they're going to go to, and not just sitting and maybe watching TV, as depressing as that may be. So that's where senior living is wonderful, but it also gives you a peace of mind if you're not living in the same state or town, that your loved one is being cared for, and there's much communication back and forth with that senior living with your parent or parents or senior loved one. So I always lead you to my website, which is www.goldenruleseniorplacement.com. There you will find not only my bio or my demographics of how to get in touch with me, but there's my testimonials of a lot over the years, of the last 7.5 years, and then also the various options of senior living, other options as well too, resources, and a whole library of all these video talks of the last 7 years of Tuesday Talks. So something that you could go back on a subject matter that might be really pertinent to you. Next week, we always, say what's next week, is going to be April 15th, Tax Day. But we're actually going to be talking about National Healthcare Decisions Day, a day for patients to make known to health professionals the kind of adequate care they wish to receive and have those wishes respected and met. So that's what we're going to talk about next week. Again, happy Occupational Therapy Month. And to my daughter Lauren, thank you for teaching me all about what you actually did with a lot of your patients and clients over the years, and how it parlays over how I could be helpful to my clients. Love you, sweetheart. Again, thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to you. Have a blessed week, a safe one, and don't forget, check on this checklist with your loved ones. You'll be surprised. Have a blessed week. Bye-bye now.